So people are living in their vehicles now. And there really, truly is an unprecedented amount of homeless people who now have found themselves living inside their vehicles. Now, I've got my truck pulled up to the tree. I do right here. You see right here. I thought, well, I'm going to... Gina, what did you say you're going to do? Well, what I said I was going to do, I thought, you know what? I'm going to pull my truck out here, put it underneath the tree, and I'm just going to lay in it. And it's kind of awkward laying in my truck because the seats like kind of like dip down. If you got bucket seats, you know that they dip down. And I thought, well, how comfortable would this be? And I mean, I can stretch my whole body out from this side to this side like that. I can, but I can't truly lay completely flat. Now, if you had a bench seat, really, now think about it. If you had a bench seat in your truck, it'd be easier to lay in that than as opposed to a car. But I don't think there's very many cars that have bench seats in them. Maybe in the back you got one solid seat, but in the front, do you have a seat? Because there truly is, where's my glasses, an unprecedented amount of people laying in their trucks, sleeping in their trucks. And I don't think it would be very comfortable. I really don't. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I did doze off a little bit. I closed my eyes. My seat is wet. My seat is dirty because I guess I got grass on it. But it's a bucket seat. And you can see how it, like, goes down like that. If I was to truly sit in here, and I can't lean it back like this. This is as far as this seat leans back. So let's think about that. If you were to find yourself having to sleep in your car, I found another crack right here. I'm going to have to repair it with some kind of stuff like this. If you found yourself having to sleep in the car, it's not going to be so comfortable. It's not. But then you want to be happy you have a roof over your head, and you know you'd have to have a pillow to sleep on. Right, that's like the cushion right there. But it's really nice. It is. It's nice laying under the shade tree. I admit it. I'd rather be laying in here than, I guess, on the floor where the ticks can get me. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Gina, honey. Gina, you need to go back to bed. It's not morning, it's afternoon. Okay, it's afternoon. But I was sitting here like this. I said I could lean back in the recliner in the house. That's what I said. Or I can come out here. I can roll down my truck windows, which I did right here. Roll them down. I can't roll that one down. That one's stuck. I thought I can just lean back in this seat, but that didn't work for me. You all didn't. And this thing right here slides down. So I guess, well, I'm going to like prop it up with a bag and this cushion. And I'm going to lay here and I'm going to close my eyes. And I did. And I was right here underneath the tree. I just pretended like I was just Galileo, I see you up there. I just pretended like I was just laying here. Gina, there's no pretending. You are physically laying there in your truck. And I got a cool breeze blowing. I really do. And I got the leaves underneath over top my head. And I thought, well, I could yeah. But you know what? If you truly do have to live in your car, now think about it. If you have to live in your car or your truck, which there are lots of people doing it because there's like an unprecedented number of people who have lost their homes. There really is an unprecedented number of people. You see people in the cars and the tents in your area, and it's really, really sad. Yeah. Excuse me. Now, see, this is in my yard. It is. It's right. It's in a nice place. right here with the trees and stuff. But you know, you're not so lucky if you have to park your vehicle or something like in the street, in a parking lot or something. Because you know, there's probably laws against where you can park your vehicle, where you could sleep at and stuff. But if you got a vehicle, then you have a way to get around. You really do. You have a way to get around. At least you got that. And if it would rain, you could like you're inside your vehicle and you can roll up the windows. You can. But could you? Well, I'm not going to say could you live in your vehicles, because people live in their vehicles. Now, see, I could sleep in this back seat. It might be a tad bit uncomfortable, but you know, if you're a tall person or you're a little bit overweight, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's not as easy as it seems. And then you don't have no space. I mean, you could pile stuff in here. You'd have to get really something creative with your space in your vehicle. You could, and you know, you'd probably have to get if you had a truck bed, you can put something in your truck. You could. I got a toolbox in there now, but you know, they make you could put your sleeping bags in your truck. You could put a tent up in the back of your truck. You could, or a sleep bed thing. I mean, you can survive. You could, but yeah, there's an unprecedented amount of homeless people. You take a back seats out. Oh, you can take your back seats out for more room to sleep. Really? That'd be, ow, that would be pretty cool. It would, if I could get my back seats. Well, I don't want to take my back seats out. I know this would fold down, but that would be a nice little area back there to sleep if you had to. You gotta, God forbid that day ever comes for you. But if it does, I'm sure you'll have the strength to make it. I really am. Yeah, you wanna be able to have a good attitude. You do, even though you lost everything. So you don't know what someone goes through unless you've been there, you've done that. How they ended up in their vehicle. Now, some people, they're getting rid of their homes, they're selling everything. And Gina, what are you doing up there? I'm just trying to tuck this in. My blind kept falling down, so I took this great big clip. And what did you do, Gina? I took this big clip and I stuck it on here because I couldn't keep it up. I thought, what is going to keep it up? Because it kept falling down on me. So I just took a big clip in there and I clipped it up because I couldn't find one. Didn't go to the junkyard. Gina, you're talking about people, an unprecedented amount of people living in their vehicles. There is. There's people who, they get their campers, they get their cars, and they travel around together and they all go camping in certain spots. They do. And that's the way they live. They do. They sold their homes and stuff. But really, there's like YouTube channels of people in their cars, and like this guy, they drive around to these places and they interview the people who are living out of their cars and stuff like that. And it's people who are on fixed income. It is. And they never dreamed they would find themselves in that situation at their age where they'd have to be living out of their car. But they couldn't afford utilities. They couldn't afford to pay rent and things like that. It was much cheaper to live out of their car and just make do because they could survive. And they get very creative. You know, if you got to go to the bathroom and stuff, you can go to places, go to the bathroom. And I guess, I don't know what you do with showers, but yeah, if you think about it, and I've talked to this one person, his name was Daryl, on the phone. He'd been sleeping in his truck for a long time and he got bit by bugs, bed bugs in his truck. He didn't know how they got all over him. They ate him up, and the potheads, the drug heads, busted out his windows. And he fell on hard times and stuff, but he got ate up by the bed bugs and the aliens. He's fighting the aliens every night. He's like a super soldier in the, Gina, you making this? No, no, this is really a super soldier who they take in his dream state every night. And he goes places, and there are people who do this whatever, but he lived in his vehicle like that. Camping is not so bad, even if you had a car, truck, rent is getting, it's getting very high. And they're saying enough. Health cubes, health clubs are plenty to shower and exercise. Simplicity is great. Yeah. Um, so you can, if you had to, as long as you had a vehicle to drive and you had the money to put the gas in and go wherever, you could survive. You could, as long as you don't give up. I mean, it would be a major change of lifestyle, extreme major change. But could you adapt? Could you adapt to it? Well, you could adapt to anything you set your mind to. You really can. Where there is a will, there is a way. It'd be better than being on the street, on a street corner in a cardboard box. Really, it would be. Or somewhere else unsafe. It would. We are spoiled. We are spoiled. We take too much for granted. We do. Way too much for granted. I mean, really, I was just laid here and I thought, well, I'll just close my eyes. And I did it for like 20 minutes and I thought, this is wonderful. It was wonderful. First, I thought I'm going to lean back in this seat. Gina, you're not going to lean back in the seat because the seat was not comfortable. I can't even flip my phone. I couldn't lay back in the seat. So I thought, well, I'm just going to stretch my legs out and I'm just going to lay like this. I'm going to prop myself up like that. I'm going to lay under the tree like that. And I got this cool breeze blowing through up here. I do. I got a cool breeze up here and I can look out like right there. I could. Now, there's a lot of people who have like, not a lot, but when you start getting health conditions and your health goes downhill, this is not going to be the ideal thing for you. It isn't. And it's going to be even more difficult because it's going to do it. But I guess you could. You could. People do it all the time, Gina. There's no guessing to it. You just said in your video, there is an unprecedented amount of homeless people. There is, and they're not reporting it. The only place you're going to see it is like on the YouTube channels is where you're going to see it. And not very many people are fortunate enough to have a vehicle to lay in. They're not. They're not. Like a roof over their head. I would consider this a roof over my head. Even though it doesn't have a bathroom or anything like that, I would. A roof over my head. And I could travel. But yeah, it's all right. And I think there were some people who said they were happen to live in their cars also. There is. And then if you got a family with children, that's even more difficult. It is. Guess you'd have to try to, tell the children, you know what, we're just going to be on a long camping trip. Just think of this as a camping trip. That's what you can think of it as. We're going camping. And we don't know how long we're going camping, but this is our life right now, and it's going to be okay. You can encourage your children. You really can. In any situation that you're in, you don't have to be a gloom and doom because your children are going to learn from you. They're going to learn to survive. They are. But yeah, hey, Jeannie, you're trying to flip the camera around. I have never done this in my life. I really cannot. I don't think I've ever done this in my life. Pull my truck up against a tree and laid under a tree. And I've got a cool breeze blowing. And it's away from my house because, you know, you can hear everything in the house. You can. But it's right here in my own backyard. In my own backyard. You could even go to a park and you could do it. You could find a place that's quiet and um, just chill just a little bit. You know, take a tad bit of a nap or something. Yeah. You got a jackery. What's a jackery? You can do it. You feel for the people living in their car with their children. Um, yeah. Try it for one weekend. I don't know what a jackery is, Sage. Try